Sabah Al-Mukhtar is a UK-based lawyer, joins me live from London. Sabah, what's your assessment of the Iraqi justice system?
I think it's very bad. It's consistent, the torture, the abuse of detainees. Detainees are not given any of their rights. The reliance on the law number 13 of 2005, which is the anti-terrorist law, and it's couched in such loose words that could be misinterpreted. The judiciary in Iraq is really not working properly at all. It is being influenced. It's by the administration. The worst thing we have in this situation, abuses of human rights are rife in Iraq, but the problem with this law is that Article 4 of it sentences anybody who is found guilty of death. And once you hang a person, you cannot bring him back. Article 2 of, paragraph 2 of Article 4, that's the one which sentences to death, says that the person who knows about it and does not give the information should be sentenced to life imprisonment. And we have the Prime Minister saying formally that he knew that the Vice President Al-Hashimi is a terrorist and he was planning terrorism for the last 4 years, but he never said it. So effectively, this article applies to him, but in Iraq it's applied selectively.
And what is going wrong then? Is this deliberate, the lack of justice as you describe it, and some people accusing guards of taking money and you can buy your way out of a sentence of death? Is that because the legal systems are not in place, or is this deliberate?
No, the legal system in Iraq was destroyed in 2003. Ambassador Bremer, who ruled Iraq, issued one regulation under which he summarily dismissed almost 50% of all the judges in Iraq. The army was, and all the professional law enforcement agencies were dismissed. Militias are now recruited as an army, as police. You have a very wide corruption. Most of the officials, most of the senior officials are double nationals. We have a lot of British citizens who are actually ministers in Iraq and members of parliament. You have others who are American citizens, French citizens. We have ministers who have actually stolen money from Iraq, but because they are French citizens or American or British, they have left the country. The country is being put on that, and I think this is the responsibility of the occupier, that is both the USA, the UK, under the Geneva Convention, because this is their creation.
I mean, it pales into comparison with America in terms of the length of time some people are spending on death row in America. That can be 10, 20 years. But is one reason why so many spend time on death row so long on death row in Iraq because they're hoping, the authorities are hoping they'll pay somebody to get out?
Well, the corruption is very ripe there on every level. Iraq is the fourth from the bottom of the list of the Transparency International. And that cuts across from the Prime Minister to the policemen on the street. The corruption is there. The death row, the trials in Iraq, it takes a very, very short time, and sentences are passed very quickly, and executions follow immediately thereafter. And this is part of the problem. That's why you have now the uprising throughout Iraq now. In most of the governorates of Iraq, people are calling for the release of people from prison, for the change in this law 13 of 2005, and certainly the annulment of Article 4 of that law. Because once you hang a person, you cannot bring him back. You may abuse people, you may have human rights abuses, but if they are still alive, then you can do something about it. You can probably continue to torture them. But at the present moment, what's happening in Iraq? Iraq is sentencing people, putting them on trial, under confessions under torture, being executed immediately, and it continues on. At the same time, the police and the prisoners, those who are holding them, they are still benefiting from them if they can, and I know of cases where they have received money because they told them that if they receive the money, they will release them. They received the money, and still the people were hanged. This is part of the problem that is going on in Iraq at the moment.
Sabah Al-Mukhtar, many thanks for joining us.